start with today's lovely chicken masala recipe. Now here I have 200 grams of chicken. You can use chicken on the bone. I'm using boneless chicken breast cut up into cubes. To that I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of ginger garlic paste, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder, some salt to taste. I'll leave a recipe of how I make the ginger garlic paste at home. It's super simple. And I'm also going to add 1/4 cup of yogurt or dahi. I've just beaten up the yogurt with a spoon. Now I'll leave a recipe of how I make my curd or dahi at home. It's super simple. I never buy dahi or curd from outside. It's really, really easy. Now we're going to mix everything really well. And we're going to set this aside for at least 30 minutes minimum. You can set it for a longer time also. And now here I have one medium-sized tomato that I've just chopped roughly. I also have some 10 to 15 cashew nuts and about 1/4 cup of fresh coriander leaves that I've washed really well. Now we're going to add this to a mixer jar, and I'm going to grind this to a very smooth paste. Now you don't need to add any water because the tomato serves as the makes it into a nice fine paste like this. This is what we're looking for. Now I'm going to add the paste to a bowl, and then I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water to my mixer jar, and we're going to use this masala water. Now for the other ingredients, here I have one medium-sized onion chopped fine, 2 teaspoons of homemade ginger garlic paste. You can use the ready-made one also. Half a teaspoon of cumin powder. 1/4 teaspoon of garam masala. This is also homemade, as well as the powders are also ground at home. I'll leave recipes for all of that. 1 teaspoon of coriander powder or dhania. And this is 1 teaspoon of red chili powder. Now here I've heated up my pan and I'm going to add a tablespoon of oil to the pan. Once the oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add the onion and I'm going to fry the onion till it's nice and translucent. Then I'm going to add the ginger garlic paste and I'm going to fry the onions and the ginger garlic really well for a whole minute. Now I'm going to add our ground paste and I'm going to fry all these 3 ingredients really well for at least another 2 minutes. We have to get this bagar really nice because that will, elevate the flavor of the dish, and that will really make this dish taste amazing. So take your time with this and, really fry the masala. Now I'm going to add the cumin powder, the coriander powder, and the red chili powder. We won't add the garam masala at this point. And now we're going to mix everything well, and now you've got to fry this for a whole 5 minutes, stirring continuously on a low to medium flame, because we want all of this to really, it has to look like this. It turns into a darker color, as well as you will see that there's some oil oozing out of this mixture. That's because we've added the cashew nuts. Cashew nuts also do tend to ooze out oil. And now is the time to add your garam masala. And now again, we're going to mix everything really nicely together. We want all the ingredients to really, come together really nicely to make this dish taste amazing. And now I'm going to add my marinated chicken. Like I said, you can use chicken on the bone, but I like using lean chicken. And I'm going to mix everything really, really well. We want all of this bagar to really coat the chicken very nicely. So take your time, mix everything well. Use a large pan or a large vessel or a large, a dish. And now I'm going to add the masala water. We don't need to add a lot of water because even the chicken oozes out some water. And we don't want this to be a very runny curry kind of a dish. It's more on the semi-dry side. And now again, mix everything. And now we're going to cook this on a low flame for 10 minutes. And you're going to keep stirring in between. Now after 10 minutes, again, you're going to mix everything really nicely. You'll see how much of water has come out from the, the chicken, the onions. And now for the color, I'm going to add 2 to 3 teaspoons of this Kashmiri red chili powder. So this doesn't make the dish spicy. It just adds a beautiful color. I love adding Kashmiri chili powder to most of my, chicken recipes because it really makes it look so nice. And, we eat with our eyes too because our food has to look appetizing. that's when you really want to dig in and eat it. So Kashmiri chili powder is good. So now you can see after cooking it for a long time, it looks so amazing. But now I'm going to cover and cook it on a very low flame for another 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes, you'll see that everything has come together so well. We just need to add 2 more ingredients and we are done. So look at the dish. It is so amazing. Everything has come together so well. I've just chopped up some coriander leaves just for garnishing it, and then I'm going to put the flame off, and then I'm going to add the juice of half a lemon. So now you don't, I don't know where I learned this from, but they always say that don't add lemon juice when the heat is on. You always got to put the heat off and add the lemon juice, and then you're all ready to serve it. It's so amazing. This goes so well with some roti, chapatis, puris, bhakris, rice and dal, anything, guys. It's just amazing, and I suggest that you do make this. Now all the ingredients with their measurements have been listed in my description box below, so you can go and check them out. So this is some yeast, this is some sugar to activate the yeast, and this is some lukewarm milk. You don't want your milk to be very cold or you don't want your milk to be very hot. Then there is some butter. So now we're going to activate the yeast. So for that, to my lukewarm milk, I'm going to be adding in the sugar, and I'm going to stir the sugar very, very well. And then we're going to add our yeast and again give it a very light stir. If your milk is very hot, then the yeast will not get activated at all. So after some time, you will see that your yeast has doubled up in size. Now in a large bowl, I'm going to take my all-purpose flour or maida. To that, I'm going to add some salt to taste. Give the salt and the maida a good mix. Now we're going to add our butter, which is at room temperature preferably. And we're going to mix the butter and the flour very, very well together. Now, once the flour and the butter are very well mixed together, we are also going to add our yeast mixture. And after adding the yeast mixture, we're going to get a soft dough like this. So just knead the dough. You might get a very sticky dough. It's very normal, but just keep kneading the dough. Then just on a very clean surface, after you applied a little, just dusted a little bit of dry flour, just knead it very, very well. It should become very, very soft. So knead it for about half a minute, and then just apply some oil to your bowl and again keep the dough into it. You can see that the dough is nice and soft. And then we're just going to put a dry kitchen napkin on top of it and leave it for at least an hour. Now after an hour, you will see that it has doubled in size. So just punch it down with your hands. Again, take it out on your surface and again knead it well. This kneading process will really make your paos rise up, and plus they will be very soft and really, really just perfect. Then divide them into the number of paos that you want. Now I'm just making, one ladi or 6 paos. Now this would be a good time to preheat your oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes. Then you're going to take each of them and roll them till they're nice and smooth. They should not have any lines on them. Just keep rolling them till they're very nice and smooth. And then place them on a buttered baking pan. And again cover them for about 45 minutes till they completely rise. They will look like this. Now your oven is preheated. So now you can just brush them lightly with some egg. You can use a whole egg, or you can even use milk if you want to keep this recipe completely veg, and then just brush them nicely. That will give it its lovely golden color. And after you've brushed them, just put them in the oven and bake them for about 8 to 10 minutes. Every oven is different, so you need to keep an eye on your pao. So bake them at 180 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes. And once your paos are ready, just brush them with some butter and put them in a dry kitchen napkin or kitchen cloth for about 10 to 15 minutes. That will make them nice and soft. And after 10 to 15 minutes, your paos are all ready to enjoy. So they've come out perfect. The aroma in my home is just beautiful. I started with just making one ladhi or 6 paos, and then my family liked it so much that I went ahead and made another ladhi. If you're just starting off, then it's better to make just one ladhi or 6 paos. And the paos were just amazing, really soft and lovely and spongy. And just apply a little bit of butter and have it with a nice hot cup of tea. I have many other baking recipes. I also have a recipe for focaccia bread. I'll leave all of that in the description box below. You can go and check them out. So to all of you who requested for this recipe, I hope you all will try out this recipe and let me know in the comment section below how your paos turned out. Thank you so much for watching. Friends, let's get started with today's lovely palak or spinach rice. Now here I've taken about 1.5 cup of basmati rice, washed it well and soaked it in some water for about 15 minutes. This is some palak, about 1.5 cups, which I've chopped roughly. Then this is some coriander powder, about a tablespoon. This is 1 teaspoon of black pepper powder. This is half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Now here I have some fennel seeds or soft, about a teaspoon, about 4 to 5 cloves, and 1 cardamom or elaichi. And this is about 3 light green chilies and about 5 large cloves of garlic. Now I'm just going to roast the cloves, the fennel seeds and the cardamom, and then I'm just ground it together into a coarse powder. This is the paste of the garlic and the green chilies. So now I've heated about a tablespoon of clarified butter or ghee. You can also use oil, and I've just put in the garlic and green chili paste, and I'm going to fry this well till the rawness of the garlic goes away and you get this lovely aroma of this green chili and garlic paste. So just fry this for about half a minute on a low to medium flame. Now I'm going to add all my powder masalas, that is the black pepper powder, the coriander powder, the cinnamon powder, as well as the fennel seeds and the elaichi and clove powder. Now we're going to fry all these spices just a little, and now I'm going to add the palak. Now for the palak, once I took the leaves, separated the leaves from the stalks, I just soaked the palak in some water, to which I added some salt for about 15 minutes. And then I drained out all the water, washed the palak well, and then I let it dry, and then I chopped it up into, just into small pieces or bits. Now the palak is going to wilt, so we're going to add a little bit of salt to taste, and we're going to let the palak wilt, or actually just leave out some water, so it will change into this dark green color. So this is a very easy recipe. You don't need to blanch the palak or make a puree. And these lovely spices also, add a lovely flavor. So once the palak is nice and wilted, it starts looking like this. That is a very dark green color. So just saute it a little so that it gets a little bit fried and cooked. And now I've just drained all the water from the rice, and I'm just adding this basmati rice. You can even use regular rice if you don't have basmati rice, and just add all the rice, and we're just going to mix everything well together, the rice, the palak, the spices, all well together. And then I'm just going to add about 2.5 cups of water. And we're going to let this water come to a boil on a medium to high flame. So get all of those rice bits and everything into the water, and we're going to let this water boil on a medium to high flame. That should just take about half a minute for the water to come to a boil. And once the water starts to boil, like this, we're just going to give it a small mix, and then we're going to just cover and cook it on a very low flame for about 8 to 10 minutes. Just checking in between whether the rice is completely cooked and all the water has evaporated. So here you will see that the water starts vigorously boiling on a high flame now. So then we'll just give it one stir like this, and then completely reduce the flame to low and cover and cook it. Now we'll just check in between whether the rice is done, but you can still see a little bit of moisture and water. So we're going to just give it a small stir, and then we're going to just cover and cook it again. We want the rice to be nice and fluffed up. And after about 8 to 10 minutes, you'll see that your rice is now nice and cooked, and your palak rice is all ready to enjoy. So let's see how to make this ragda. It's very, very simple. Now here I've taken 1 cup of this white vatana, washed it well under water thrice, and then I'm going to soak this in about 2 to 3 cups of water for about 6 to 7 hours. So just cover and keep it and set it aside for 6 to 7 hours so that it nicely gets soaked up in the water. Now after 6 to 7 hours, we're going to pressure cook this for 1 whistle on high, and then we're going to simmer it on a low flame for 15 minutes till it's nice and soft. Then let the pressure cooker completely cool down, and then you're just going to mash the vatanas, and it's very easy to mash it because it's really soaked well and it's cooked well. So then just use a pav bhaji masher or a potato masher and just mash it up. Don't mash the entire thing, but keep a little bit of it, a little bit of the vatanas like this. And now I'm just going to heat up the mixture again and just add a little bit of salt and mix everything together. Cook it for about 5 minutes and your ragda is all ready. So wasn't that really simple? Now, some people do add a little bit of turmeric powder for the color, but I just like to add plain salt. Now, let's move on to see how we're going to make the pattises. This is also super simple. So, here I've taken about 5 to 6 potatoes, medium sized potatoes, from which I got 13 pattises, which is fine for a family of 4. Wash it well and then pressure cook it on 1 whistle on high and simmer for 10 minutes. Once the pressure cooker is nice and cool, just see whether the potatoes are cool. Take them out and just set them aside. Now, once you're able to handle them, just peel them. And then just smash the potatoes really well. Now, I'm just going to add some salt. And again, mash this really well. Now we're going to flavor it with some other seasonings. So here I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cumin powder or jeera powder, 2 teaspoons of coriander powder or dhania, just about half a teaspoon of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, a little bit of chaat masala, about a teaspoon or so. And just mix all of this really well together. Now I'll leave the links to all the masalas, how I grind the coriander powder at home and cumin powder, how I make my garam masala. So you'll find all of that in the description box below. Now we're just going to add about 4 tablespoons of corn flour. This helps to bind the patties really well. You can also substitute it with some rice flour if you don't have corn flour at hand. And now we're going to use our hands. So before that, we're just going to add a little bit of coriander, freshly chopped dhania or coriander leaves. And now we're going to mix all of this really, really well. So this corn flour helps to bind the entire mixture together so that your mixture, can form nice patties and they don't break. Now I'm just going to wet my hands with some cold water, and that makes it easier to form these patties. So just form the patties and flatten them a bit. So like I said, from the amount, I used about 5 or 6 medium-sized potatoes. I got 13 patties. Now I'm just going to heat about 2 tablespoons of oil. I like to use this flat dosa tawa. It's easier to, make the patties. And then you're just going to shallow fry them till they're nice and golden brown on both sides. This gets ready really quickly. So you can always prepare this mixture a day ahead. Prepare all the chutneys and keep, ahead. I'll leave a link to how I prepare my green chutney in the description box below, how I prepare my tamarind chutney. So you can go and check out all the recipes. They're really, really simple. And you can prepare the ragda also and keep a little ahead of time. And then all you have to do is just assemble everything. All you require is some shave and some chopped up onions and some coriander for garnish. Like you will see, I'm going to show you at the end of the video how to assemble it. So this is how your ragda, the patties should look. Nice and golden brown in color. So you can just leave them, when you're ready to serve, just leave them on a medium or low heat on the tawa. So that way they're nice and hot. So now I'm going to show you how I assemble this lovely and delicious chaat, which is ragda patties. So now first I either use a flat plate or a kind of a flattish bowl. I start by putting the ragda at the base. Then I'm going to place the patties, preferably 2. Then we're going to apply this green chutney. Then we're going to go with the sweet tamarind and khajur chutney. Then I'm going to sprinkle some very finely chopped onion, some very fine shave, and then some coriander, and that's it, guys. This lovely ragra batis is all ready, and it's so lovely Goan goat recipe. Now here I've taken 1 cup of rice. I'm going to add this to a bowl, and I'm going to wash the rice thrice under running water really well. So squeeze the rice out in the water. First you'll get a very murky water, and with every wash the water gets clearer. So wash the rice thrice. Now once we're done with the rice, I'm going to do the same thing with half a cup of chana dal. Just add that to the bowl, wash it thrice. And now I'm going to soak the rice as well as the chana dal. The rice I'm going to soak in 3 cups of water and the chana dal in 2 cups of water for about 8 hours. This is very important. You can even soak it overnight, but 8 hours should be sufficient. Now after 8 hours, you're going to drain out all the water from the dal and the rice, and you're going to add this to a pressure pan. Now I'm going to add about 4 cups of water to the pressure pan, and we're going to pressure cook this for 1 whistle on high, and then simmer it or cook it on a very low flame for 10 minutes, and then put off the gas and let the cooker cool completely. Now after the pressure cooker cools down, you can open it and you can see that the dal and the rice is nicely cooked. So now I can show you all the other ingredients. There are very few other ingredients required for this gorshe. Now here I have 1 cup of coconut milk, 1 cup of jaggery, you can use the Goa jaggery, 1 teaspoon of cardamom, and these are 2 turmeric leaves, which is optional, and just a pinch of salt. Now I'm going to cook this in my pressure pan because it is a heavy bottom pan. Now I haven't turned the flame on of the gas yet, but I'm going to mash the dal and the rice a bit, and I'm going to add the coconut milk and again mash it up just a little. Not completely, it shouldn't become into like a porridge, but just a little bit mash up the rice and the dal. Now we haven't turned on the gas or the flame or the heat yet. So mash up everything a little bit, and now we're going to turn on the heat. Now we're going to add the other ingredients, that is the jaggery. Next I'm going to add the elaichi powder or the cardamom powder. I've just used 1 teaspoon, or you can use 4 cloves, and a pinch of salt. Now I'm going to keep my flame from low to medium, and I'm going to mix all the ingredients really well together. Now this gorshe is a delicious anytime snack, goes well with a cup of tea or even a sweet after a meal. Now after cooking this for about 5 minutes, stirring in between, you will see that the jaggery has all melted and you get a lovely dark color. Now if you're using Goa jaggery, you'll get a beautiful dark brown color. Now I'm going to add the turmeric leaves, which is completely optional, but I have a small little plant in my kitchen window with my turmeric leaves, so I'm adding it for that lovely flavor. And after cooking this for another 5 minutes on a low to medium flame, it starts to thicken. So keep stirring in between and you will see that it thickens up really quickly and it will start leaving the sides of the pan. Now in the meantime, I'm just going to grease a tray, or you can even use the back of a steel plate, a large steel plate. So I'm just greasing this pan that I have, and now you can see that everything has come together and it has really thickened. So this took me a total of 20 minutes. Now I'm going to transfer this to my greased tray, which is actually a pie tray with a removable base, but you can use any steel thali or even a cake pan. And now I'm going to just even it out or flatten the top. So I'm just using the back of a vati. You can even use a small glass, heavy glass, just to press it down. And now we're going to let it completely cool for 2 hours. I have refrigerated it for 2 hours. And after 2 hours, you will see that the whole thing comes together very well. And now we're just going to demold it and they're going to cut it up into whatever desired shape. You can cut it up into triangles, into squares, but I like this lovely triangular kind of a pie shape. And you can see that everything has really come together really well. So I hope you'll give this recipe a try and let me know in the comments section how you like it. I will catch you in my next video. This is Akshata signing off. Bye.